Good morning, Dr. Isaura González. Welcome. It is truly a pleasure to have you. Let's dig in. You have faced tons of obstacles. Name one, and how did you get over it?
One seems to be like no problem. The bigger challenges is when you get more than one obstacle all at the same time together. And so I think any of those obstacles, the most recent obviously has been my health challenge, my personal life. Everything happened all at once. My children and I became displaced from our home out of emergent situations, followed directly by getting a diagnosis of cancer, followed by having to file for divorce, and then followed by the diagnosis of cancer, all within probably 3 to 4 months. And so even though those are all separate, I consider them one obstacle because they all really were intertwined. And I think having faith is really important, and that's something that's gotten me through not just these clusters of obstacles, but all other obstacles in my life as well. So faith is really one of the underpinnings of my life. The other thing is determination and persistence, and being able to be determined to get to where you need to be. And it's not necessarily where you want to be, but where you need to be. I've come to understand that God's plans have a bigger role in my life than what my plans are. And so being able to maintain myself focused and remembering that there's a reason why I'm here and a reason why I've been saved, why I didn't die a year ago, why everything happened in the way it needed to happen, for me was a blessing. And so when people say, I'm so sorry you have cancer, I say to them, please don't apologize, because with every obstacles, there are opportunities and there are blessings. And I've been tremendously blessed. So had I not been displaced, I wouldn't have so vehemently sought healthcare for myself, and I wouldn't have caught the cancer. And so I wouldn't be here with you right now talking to you if that didn't happen. So as much as that pains myself and my children, there were things that needed to happen for me to be here with you today. And so I accept that, and I take that as a sign of faith that everything happened the way it needed to happen. So sometimes surrendering and accepting what is happening at the moment, you don't have to like it, but you have to understand that it's a fiber in which your fabric is being woven in order to create the bigger design.
I don't think there's any accidents in life. I think that things happen and we have the opportunity to react how we choose. And where did this strength come from? Where did your inner strength come from? Were you always like that?
So my mom and my aunt both came here from Cuba with pretty much only the clothes on their back. Like what they were wearing is what you could take. Like there was no packing a luggage. There was no, I'll send the movers back for the rest of my possessions. The possessions that really meant a lot for them, they gave to family members to keep as heirlooms and to keep them, anything that they had, like when they got married, there's always an interchange of like coins in the Cuban culture. So they left their coins, their special coins, they left pictures. They came with nothing. They came with nothing. And so for two women with minimal education to come with nothing and not know what they were going to do when they got off that plane, I think speaks volume about who they are. And so not only did they pass those values, verbally, right, which teaching like, how persistence pays off, how dedication pays off, how education pays off, all of these important values that they passed on, but watching them in the roughest of circumstances, not just survive, but to come out triumphant in circumstances, I think really, really gave me the knowledge I needed to have to move forward, because you get knowledge from education, but you get knowledge from people too. And because I'm an observer, because I love doing what I do and I've always observed, it doesn't surprise me that I observed them as they, lived life. And way back in the day, the hourly rate was $3 an hour or less. And so to watch them pay for Catholic education for myself and my brother, to pay for private schooling, to put us through the best universities, to, continue to support me through graduate school so that I could see my vision and my goal, because part of their goal was to see me succeed. So they never stopped supporting me.
What a blessing. And, sometimes people do have that support. And even when they don't, as you said, they can look back on what are the lessons I've learned. Because there's always a lesson or a blessing, and you are such an example of that. And so you are from strong women, and you obviously have become a very strong woman.
One of my favorite quotes happens to remind me of my mom. You cannot discover new oceans if you don't have the courage to lose sight of the shore. So, and for me, that was really my mom, right? In order to get to what she wanted for me and my brother, she had to lose sight of the shore. She had to let go of everything she knew that was familiar, and just say, there's something else out there. I just have to look for it. So that was one of my favorite quotes. The other one happens to be from the movie Secretariat. And it's when the owner, Penny, is talking to, I believe it's her husband and the horse trainer. And
So.
She says something to the effect of, you have to run at life, because if you don't run, you'll never know how far you can get unless you run. It's a really beautiful quote. I can get it to you later, and I'm not doing justice to it right now, but it's really about, if life is in front of you and you don't move, you'll never know how far you can get if you just don't run. And you have to run hard and you have to run fast to get what you can get from life. You can't just sit somewhere. But to me, it's one of those really powerful quotes that life is in front of us. It's not behind us, it's in front of us. And if we don't choose to move forward, then that's on us.
It also is that courage, because I know sometimes the women I deal with, they're kind of stuck and they're scared, and that's all in our heads. It's just that negative noise. And what I'm hearing is that it's kind of like that Nike commercial, just do it. Or Mel Robbins, count down for 5 and just do it. And that is so inspiring, because it's not magic. This is just
right.
Everybody can understand this, and it's so thrilling. If you could have an idea for women of the world or mission, what would that be? What would you like to see done?
There's just so much that I think can be done. One of the things that I would love to see is more collaboration and cooperation amongst different, cultures, different women, because if we collaborate together, we're a stronger unit and we can move much more together. The individuals that say I did it by myself, I'm not really sure how by yourself it was done. Yes, I went to school by myself and I did that, but it took a tribe to be able to help me not have to worry about other things. Every time I went for treatment, and I did pretty much almost every day for 9 months. I'm still in treatment now, but 9, and yes, I tell people I did it myself. Like, I had to take care of myself, but there was always support. Like, I couldn't give myself the medicine. The nurses gave me the medicine. The doctors had to clear me. You know, the person taking the blood had to draw the blood and make sure, and analyze my blood. Like, there's so many aspects to a person. Sometimes we forget, and we want to be given credit because we've taken the initiative. And yes, that's wonderful. But we can't forget that it's a team effort pretty much all of the time.
Yes, and I think that sometimes it's okay to ask for help. Obviously, you needed, I mean, this is an extreme example. Obviously, yeah, you did need help. And I bet maybe if you were at home and you weren't feeling well, my hunch is your children would help. That they would, they do what they need to do. And are they teenagers? Is that right? They're
I
teenagers.
now have 3 teenage boys
Oh my.
and my daughter who's 11. So
Oh boy.
I was bald when my last son became a teenager. And I said, God knows what he does, because I would have been pulling out my hair and it was going to be so much harder to explain why I had no hair. Right. But so I was like, he made me bald so I could take the 3 teenagers in stride. So I don't have to say, I'm going to pull out my hair because of you boys. So it fell out. So I didn't have to worry about my not having any hair. But yeah, I mean, it's, asking for help, or not even asking for help. I think allowing individuals to help, whether you've asked for it or not. Coming from a faith perspective, you know, sometimes you don't want to bother people, but if you look at it from this angle that you're blocking a person's blessings by not letting them give to you, that makes it a lot easier. So no matter how much I may think like, oh no, I got it, thanks, and I may have it, I don't want to block someone's blessings either. And so I
Absolutely.
reshift to that.
Beautiful. And, I love that because when somebody wants to give, they will become a part of, they get to connect with others. And it is a blessing. It is an honor when they want to give of themselves so freely. And I think that when we say, oh, I'm doing it by myself, we're also, as you say, we're cutting them off from feeling connected, from feeling a part
Right.
of. And what a beautiful thing that you are aware of that. And not only that, you welcome that as well. And boy, I'll
Right.
tell you, it's just been amazing speaking with you. You are also one of the top psychology people in your area. You have been honored. You have spoken before. I mean, the conference, would you just say, you've got to say a word about when you spoke in 2016 to that huge conference, please, for the EBW?
Yes, I spoke on, how we can use our emotional intelligence to manage our money, and how, there's a lot of similarities with how emotional intelligence is run, like, knowing yourself, knowing others, managing others, and how you can use that framework to have a relationship with money, because, it is a relationship that you have with money. And so what I did for that conference was really take my expertise and my knowledge of psychology, my expertise and knowledge of business, my expertise and knowledge of strategy, and be able to combine it, to support women in how do you change your relationship with money? How do you change your mindset to look about money? Because it really is a shift.
Wow, I'd love to have that conference. And would you please explain, because I think this is quite an honor, what EBW 2020 is, please?
It's Empowering a Billion Women by 2020. It was spearheaded, or it is spearheaded by Ingrid Vanderbilt, a wonderful woman. She's actually out in, I want to say she's in Austin, Texas.
Hmm.
So she's close to you, but she's a wonderful woman, constantly on the cutting edge, constantly looking for ways to empower women, particularly financially, so that we can begin to shorten the gap.
And this is a national, this is not like a little mom pa thing. This is a massive organization. This is quite an honor. So you are someone who is such a, outwardly, you have really accomplished so much, and inwardly, perhaps even more so, as a model of who you are and what you are to others. And that alone is very inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you
No,
so
thank
very
you for
much.
having me.
It's a blessing having you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.